Every 4 years, the FIFA World Cup produces new heroes. Records are broken. Dreams are realized. History is rewritten. But every now and then, a player, a team, or a single moment creates something so extraordinary that it survives generation after generation. Some of these records have stood for decades. Others have lasted for nearly a century. As football continues to evolve, they remain untouched, reminding us just how difficult true greatness really is. From the fastest goal ever scored to achievements that may never be repeated, these are the 20 greatest World Cup records that may never be broken. 20. Fastest goal in World Cup history. Imagine waiting 4 years for the biggest tournament in football, only for the first goal to arrive before you've even settled into your seat. That's exactly what happened at the 2002 FIFA World Cup. Just 11 seconds after kickoff, Turkey's Hakan Şükür intercepted a misplaced pass from South Korea. With only the goalkeeper to beat, he calmly slotted the ball into the net. 11 seconds. No player in World Cup history has ever scored faster. Modern football is faster than ever, but breaking a record measured in just 11 seconds would require the perfect combination of pressure, luck, and flawless finishing. For more than 2 decades, it has remained untouched. 19. Youngest player in World Cup history. Most footballers spend years dreaming of playing in a World Cup. One player achieved it before finishing school. In 1982, Norman Whiteside represented Northern Ireland at just 17 years and 41 days old. He became the youngest player ever to appear in a FIFA World Cup, breaking a record that had belonged to none other than Pelé. Whiteside showed maturity far beyond his age, competing against experienced professionals on football's biggest stage. Today, with stricter player development pathways and fewer teenagers starting at major tournaments, his record has become one of the hardest to challenge. More than 40 years later, it still stands. 18. Oldest player ever to appear. While some players reach the World Cup before adulthood, others refuse to leave it behind. In 2018, Egypt's legendary goalkeeper, Essam El Hadary, stepped onto the pitch at 45 years and 161 days old. Most footballers retire long before their 40s. Yet El Hadary continued performing at the highest level, becoming the oldest player ever to appear in a FIFA World Cup. His appearance wasn't simply about age. It was the reward for decades of discipline, determination, and an extraordinary love for the game. As sports become increasingly demanding, seeing another player compete at 45 on football's biggest stage seems almost unimaginable. 17. Most World Cup clean sheets. Scoring goals creates headlines, but preventing them wins championships. Italy's legendary goalkeeper Walter Zenga holds one of the tournament's most remarkable defensive records. During the 1990 FIFA World Cup, he went 517 consecutive minutes without conceding a goal. Match after match, opponents failed to find a way past him. His incredible run finally ended in the semi-final against Argentina. Even then, the record had already entered football history. In a tournament where one mistake can change everything, remaining unbeaten for more than 5 full matches is an extraordinary achievement. It is a reminder that sometimes the greatest World Cup performances aren't measured by goals, but by the silence of the scoreboard. 16. Biggest victory in World Cup history. Winning a World Cup match is an achievement. Winning by 10 goals is almost impossible. At the 1982 FIFA World Cup, Hungary produced one of the most dominant performances the tournament has ever seen. Facing El Salvador, Hungary overwhelmed their opponents from the very first whistle. Attack after attack found the back of the net. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read, Hungary 10, El Salvador. It remains the biggest victory in FIFA World Cup history. Modern football has become far more balanced. Defensive organization, tactical preparation, and the overall quality of international teams make scorelines like this incredibly rare. That is why many believe this record may never be broken. 15. Most World Cup assists. Goals win matches, but someone has to create them. Few players have ever done that better than Argentina's Lionel Messi. Across 6 FIFA World Cups, Messi consistently produced moments of brilliance, not only by scoring, but by setting up his teammates. With vision, precision, and perfect timing, he delivered assist after assist on football's biggest stage. By the end of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Messi had become the tournament's all-time assist leader. What makes the achievement even more remarkable is the variety of passes. Short passes, long through balls, perfect crosses, and moments of creativity that only a handful of players in history could imagine. Creating goals over 2 decades at the highest level is a record that may stand for many years. 14. Most World Cup appearances. For most players, reaching one World Cup is a dream. Playing in 6 is almost unimaginable. In 2026, Lionel Messi became the first footballer to appear in 6 FIFA World Cups. From Germany in 2006 to the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 2026, Messi competed on football's biggest stage for nearly 20 years. Entire generations of footballers came and went during that time. Yet Messi remained. Maintaining elite performance for 2 decades requires extraordinary fitness, consistency, and determination. It is one of the greatest examples of longevity the sport has ever witnessed. With modern football becoming faster and more physically demanding every year, this record could remain untouched for decades. 13. Most World Cup matches played. Playing in 6 World Cups is one thing. Playing more matches than anyone else is another. By the end of his World Cup career, Lionel Messi had played 32 World Cup matches, more than any footballer in history. Reaching that number required much more than simply qualifying. It meant leading Argentina deep into tournament after tournament. Group stages, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, again and again. Each match brought new pressure, new expectations, and new opportunities to make history. It is a record built not only on longevity, but on consistent success at the highest level. And unless another player enjoys a career as extraordinary as Messi's, it may remain one of football's most difficult achievements to surpass. 12. Youngest goalscorer in World Cup history. Some footballers spend their entire careers dreaming of scoring at a World Cup. Pelé did it before turning 18. At the 1958 FIFA World Cup in Sweden, the young Brazilian arrived with enormous talent, but very little international experience. Then came the quarterfinal against Wales. Receiving the ball inside the penalty area, Pelé controlled it brilliantly, lifted it over a defender, and calmly finished into the corner. At just 17 years and 239 days old, he became the youngest goal scorer in FIFA World Cup history. It was only the beginning. Pelé went on to score 6 goals in the tournament, including 2 in the final, leading Brazil to their first ever World Cup title. More than 60 years later, no younger player has ever found the net on football's biggest stage. 11. Oldest goalscorer in World Cup history. Football is often described as a young man's game, but one legendary striker proved experience can be just as powerful. At the 1994 FIFA World Cup, Cameroon brought back Roger Milla, who was already 42 years old. Many believed his best years were long behind him. Yet against Russia, Milla scored once again, becoming the oldest goalscorer in World Cup history. Even after finding the net, he celebrated with his famous dance beside the corner flag, creating one of the tournament's most unforgettable images. Competing at the highest level in your 40s is already extraordinary. Scoring against the world's best players at that age is almost unimaginable. It is a record that has survived for more than 3 decades and remains one of football's greatest achievements. 10. Most goals in a single World Cup match. Scoring 1 goal at a World Cup is unforgettable. Scoring 2 is a dream. A hat-trick guarantees your place in history. But in 1994, one man achieved something no player has ever repeated. Russia's Oleg Salenko scored 5 goals against Cameroon in a single World Cup match. 5. Every attack seemed to end with Salenko finding the back of the net. His finishing was clinical. His movement was unstoppable. His confidence grew with every goal. To this day, no player has ever scored more goals in a single World Cup match. Even more remarkably, despite Russia failing to progress beyond the group stage, Salenko still finished the tournament as a joint Golden Boot winner. One extraordinary afternoon was enough to make history. 9. Most goals in a single World Cup tournament. Some records don't last a few years. They survive entire generations. At the 1958 FIFA World Cup, French striker Just Fontaine produced what many consider the greatest goal-scoring tournament ever. Match after match, he simply couldn't stop scoring. By the time France's campaign ended, Fontaine had scored an astonishing 13 goals in just 6 matches. To put that into perspective, many legendary strikers never score 13 World Cup goals in their entire careers. Modern tournaments are more tactical. Defenders are faster. Goalkeepers are better prepared. And teams simply don't score as freely as they once did. More than 6 decades later, Just Fontaine's incredible record still stands, making it one of the most untouchable achievements in football history. 8. The only nation to win 4 consecutive World Cup matches across 2 tournaments. Winning a World Cup is one of football's greatest achievements. Defending that title is even harder. Between the 1934 and 1938 FIFA World Cups, Italy accomplished something that has become almost impossible in the modern game. After lifting the trophy in 1934, they returned 4 years later and won the tournament again. Across those 2 campaigns, Italy built an incredible winning streak in the knockout stages, proving they were the dominant force of their era. Since then, football has become faster, more competitive, and far more unpredictable. Even the greatest teams struggle to defend a World Cup title. That is why Italy's dominance in the 1930s remains one of the tournament's most remarkable achievements. 7. Most World Cup Golden Boots. Scoring goals is difficult. Doing it consistently across multiple World Cups is almost impossible. Several legendary strikers have won the Golden Boot, awarded to the tournament's top scorer. But no player has ever won it more than once outright. From Just Fontaine to Gerd Müller, Paolo Rossi, Gary Lineker, Ronaldo Nazario, Miroslav Klose, James Rodriguez, Harry Kane, and Kylian Mbappe, every winner enjoyed one unforgettable tournament. Yet none managed to repeat the achievement as the sole top scorer. With new stars emerging every 4 years and competition becoming fiercer than ever, winning even one Golden Boot is extraordinary. Winning 2 outright may remain football's impossible challenge. 6. 3 World Cup titles as a player. Many football legends never win a World Cup. Some win it once. A select few win it twice. But only one player has lifted the FIFA World Cup 3 times. Pelé. He won his first title in 1958 as a 17-year-old prodigy. He won again in 1962, helping Brazil establish itself as a football powerhouse. Then, in 1970, he led one of the greatest national teams ever assembled to another World Cup triumph. 3 tournaments, 3 winners' medals. More than half a century later, no player has matched that achievement. With modern football becoming increasingly competitive, many believe Pelé's record may never be equaled. 5. The only player to appear in 6 FIFA World Cups. For most footballers, 1 World Cup is the dream of a lifetime. Some reach 2. A few extraordinary players reach 5. But in 2026, Lionel Messi achieved something no footballer had ever done before. He became the first player to appear in 6 FIFA World Cups. From a teenage substitute in Germany in 2006 to lifting the trophy in Qatar in 2022 and continuing his journey in 2026. Messi's World Cup career stretched across 2 decades. Entire generations of players came and went. Managers changed. Football evolved. Yet Messi remained at the very highest level. Longevity like this demands exceptional talent, relentless dedication, and remarkable physical resilience. It is not just a World Cup record. It is one of the greatest examples of sporting endurance football has ever seen. 4. The most World Cup goals in history. Scoring at a FIFA World Cup is football's greatest stage. Some legends score once. Others score across multiple tournaments. But only one player has climbed higher than them all. For years, The record belonged to Germany's Miroslav Klose, whose 16 World Cup goals seemed almost untouchable. Then came 2026, already a World Cup champion, already one of football's greatest players. Lionel Messi wasn't finished writing history. Against Austria, he scored twice. Those 2 goals didn't just help Argentina. They made Messi the highest goal scorer in FIFA World Cup history. From Germany in 2006 to North America in 2026, his World Cup journey had come full circle. Nearly 20 years, 6 tournaments, more World Cup goals than any player who has ever lived. It is a record built on brilliance, consistency, and extraordinary longevity. 3. The most World Cup final appearances by a nation. Winning 1 World Cup final is unforgettable. Reaching final after final, across generations, is something entirely different. No nation has appeared in more FIFA World Cup finals than Germany. From the heroes of 1954 to the legendary teams of the 1970s to champions once again in 2014, Germany has repeatedly found a way to reach football's biggest stage. Different players, different coaches, different eras, yet the same remarkable consistency. It is one of the greatest examples of excellence in international football, and a standard few nations have ever come close to matching. 2. The most World Cup titles by a nation. Every footballing nation dreams of lifting the FIFA World Cup. Many have tried. Only a handful have succeeded. But one country has stood above them all. Brazil. 5 World Cup titles. 1958, 1959, 1960, 1961, 1962. Across nearly half a century, Brazil produced generation after generation of football legends. Pelé, Garrincha, Romario, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho. Each era brought new stars, but the same winning tradition. Even today, more than 20 years after their last triumph, no nation has managed to surpass Brazil's incredible collection of 5 World Cup trophies. It remains one of football's most iconic records. 1. The greatest World Cup record that may never be broken. Every record on this list is extraordinary. Some have lasted decades. Others have survived almost an entire century. But perhaps the greatest achievement of all is not measured by one match or one tournament. It is measured by a lifetime. Only one player has won 3 FIFA World Cups. Pelé. He was just 17 when he shocked the world in Sweden. He lifted the trophy again in Chile, then completed football's greatest international career in Mexico. 3 World Cups, 3 winners' medals. No other player has matched him. As football grows more competitive with every generation, as tournaments become harder to win, Pelé's achievement feels less like a record and more like a monument, one that may stand forever. Football is a game built on records. Every generation believes it will witness the impossible, and sometimes it does. New stars will emerge. New champions will be crowned. And one day, some of these incredible records may finally fall. But until that moment arrives, they remain lasting reminders of football's greatest legends and the extraordinary moments that made the FIFA World Cup the greatest sporting event on earth. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through football history, don't forget to subscribe for more documentaries celebrating the beautiful game. Because history isn't just remembered, it's relived.